Hi guys and gals, welcome to Bob's Barn Workshop. Today we're actually working in the barn workshop, and I have a little plan, something I've been wanting to do. I went over to the local discount tool store we all know, got myself a little sandblaster kit, bought a set of sandblaster cabinet gloves, some hardware, I got my tools, I got my plywood, yes, a sheet of glass I'm going to have to cut over here leaning on the wall to make a window, and I'm going to make myself a blasting cabinet. I have 8 car wheels that have the tires mounted, and I don't want to dismount them, so I need to make the cabinet big enough to take a whole SUV tire mounted, which they're about 33 inches high, 10 inches thick, almost a foot. So I figure it needs to be 3 feet high, 3 feet wide, 30 inches deep. The front slanted a little bit so the window goes in. I'm going to slant the floor to the back with a couple of wedges, and that's what the PVC fittings are for, to come up through the floor in there. And I'm going to put a pipe on that and right into a bucket to recollect my aggregate, my blasting media. And you know, my pneumatic nailer, brads, glue, screws, tools, table saw when I need it, and yeah, I'm gonna have some fun here today, and I'll come back to it when we get set up. We're gonna start cutting this sheet down, one 3-foot wide one for the back, a couple 30-inch wide ones for the sides. Figure out, I think I'm just gonna put a 45-degree taper on the side for the window. And I figure I can just get it out, set it on sawhorses, and when it's out of the way I can store it back over here under the stairway or something, because I don't need it set up all the time. Alright guys, we'll be back, and we'll be cutting, screwing, and gluing. Now one thing you need to remember when you're doing this kind of stuff, of course, wear your safety glasses. Now I want my first piece to be 3 feet. And I have my great little cutting aid there, if you want to call it that. But you have to remember, my saw is going to add some length to that. So I have to add the lengths from the blade, which in this case, I believe is about 5 1/8. So I want 36. So that means 36 and 5 1/8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That would be 41 1/8. We'll make a mark here. We'll make a mark here. Now remember, I could be using a table saw for this, but this isn't furniture grade. This is going to have blocking in the corners to hold it. So I'm just putting a board under there to make this stay up straight. This plywood was 70% off because it was so warped. But I figured I'm going to be nailing it down to a framework. It don't really matter. It's just there as a box to collect dust. It has really no need to be super structurally, have a lot of structural integrity. So, put this sliding bar right on my marks. Close enough. Slide it in. Tighten her up. Alright. She's going to get a little noisy. Now I'm going to turn on my shop dust collector. It cleans the air, like all the air in the shop in about 4 minutes. You got to manage your cord of your tool when you're doing this kind of stuff too. Now I'm going to push down on this because it's slow to it. I set the saw to a fairly shallow depth too, so I don't cut through and hit my board underneath. this cut done? Well, you can see the kind of cutting I'm going to be doing. I'm not going to show everything. I got to cut 230s. I cut everything also up to 42 inches high. I forgot to turn my dust collector on, duh. That sucks a lot of air down around the blade. Where it falls in the bottom, gets it out of here. Everything's cut to 42 inches high. That leaves an internal room of 3 feet. And gives me a few inches to put a slanted board on the inside so that the aggregate will run to the back and out the hole. So let me draw what we're going to do here. So what I need to do is I want to cut the front of this off with a 45-degree angle. And so I know this is 30. So if I come back to the center here at 15, and basic geometry, I go 15 here, connect the dots, and I'll have a 45-degree angle. Now I got to find my straight edge here. I've got several of those cutoff clamps that I used, and they make fine straight edges. As I said, I know this is really warped. I'm cutting it off anyway. So there's that one. And I'm going to be coming up on the bottom to 36. 36. One more. And it just worked. Doing the back edge here. I'm just trying to set some boundaries here so I can see where this is going to be ergonomically useful for me to be able to stand and look into it. And so there's going to be the floor of it. What do you think? I think I should slant it even more. I think I should make it like that. Alright, well that's the decision. What do you think? I think right about there looks pretty darn good. And notice this is 15. And that makes this 21 and a half. And that leaves me that much room to put glove holes in there. 14 and a half. Alright. So now that I got the measurements, I can cut my other one too. Or mark my other one. Now this one has, oh that's the back. Let's just cut off the ugliest edges, that's all. This one's a nice piece right here. Well, I won't call it nice, but one of these is just going to swing as a door too, so I'm going to have to remember that. This one has to cut opposite. Making this up as we go along, folks. Making it up as we go along. Put it on the marks. Alrighty. Well, I'm going to cut those off. I guess you don't need to watch me do that. I'm going to use that short. Put that up there to support. Do that. And just run my saw right across. Well, it's right here. Let's do it. Sweet, I have a very fine, if you notice, this blade is extremely thin kerf. For one thing, it cuts easier in heavier wood, and it also doesn't, you don't cut off a lot of wood. Saves the saw. Alright. That's what happens when she starts to drop, she wedges. You gotta be extremely careful because kickback on a saw is very dangerous. It can run right over your hand, so try not to get your hand behind the saw. If it kicks back, it'll run right over, so just keep that in mind. Now with the pieces just standing together, you can see the basic shape I'm going for. Yes, it's going to be a big chamber. As I said, I'm going to lose 8 inches in the bottom for the slant to the back. And yeah, I'm just going to frame it all up with 2x2. As I said, the one end, I'm going to have an extra frame of 2x2, and I'll put that together with pocket screws so it's nice and stiff. And put the hinges on the back, and the whole end's going to open up for my my door. I'll have to cut the bottom off 8 inches, so I'm going to use the same piece of panel. For some reason, I just want the door on the right side, so I'm going to use that right side door to do that. But first, I'm just going to run some. What am I going to run around there? Actually, on everything else over here, I can just use, on the left-hand side, I can use 1x2 framing. On the right-hand side here, I'm going to use 2x2 around the end and around the frame of the door. The rest of it I can use 1x2 that I bought 70% off. Again, I got some 2x2s here that were really decent looking, so those will be my door frames. And as I said, I have a 4-inch dust collection system and dust port here that I can put right into it. You got to remember to drill some relief holes, so I was thinking about putting the dust port over here somewhere up high so the aggregate falls and the light dust comes up. But making a slot on this side of the glass and maybe putting a board on there that deflects it across the inside of the glass, and then a few more like 3/4 inch holes in the door so it sucks it and comes across. What do you think? Are we getting there? A little bit. Getting it right down here. Lift this up a little bit. Get that corner in there. There. They should butt right against each other. Alright. So there's the back panel. Now see how that stiffened up most of the warpage in this? She's almost dead flat. And this should produce plenty of, oh, that guy just, I'm gonna have to clamp that guy down while the glue dries, I guess. Let that dry for a few minutes. This glue dries extremely fast. I'm gonna suck this down together here. Get that to dry up. Everything else looks nice. So, and again, the reason I'm doing this on this side is the door hinge. And I've got 3/4 inch foam. 3/4 inch foam to go so that when the door is closed on the outside here, it produces an airtight seal, or a relatively airtight seal. Because we want to be sucking air in anyway, because that'll clear out the dust. We need to have air going out because we're going to be sucking a lot. Or I mean, we need air coming in because we're going to be sucking a lot out with the dust collection system. I may actually, and I think I'll do it right now, put a rib across the back of this to help stiffen it up. Maybe I'll do that at the end and make sure I got enough scrap left. So, anyhow, I have to start thinking about, now I'm going to put the side on this. And I can do that. Because I think I'll put the pieces of wood I don't know if either. I'm looking at both of the pieces. Yeah, this side, it's got a little more warp to it, so I'm going to use this for the fixed side, which will be right here. So I think what I'm going to do is band this with the 1x2 all the way around before I try to attach it to here. And then I'm going to start building the framework with the pocket screws on the other end. Start building put this one on here, glue it down. I'm going to put the edge banding on it first, I think. I just need to leave that extra inch here. And that ought to be cool. Alright. I'm trying to figure out, I'm walking up to these angles that I need to for this corner. Decide what that angle is down there too. So I've got to do the same thing. I got to measure it with my see if we can put a 17-degree angle. Okay, so that's that way. We want this to be that way. Exit right there. Okay, well, I'm going to continue framing around this. You don't need to watch the whole thing. I've got both those two side panels, the back and the side, prepared. Go together. So, what I'm going to do is glue, put the guy right on the side right here. And we're getting, come along. Tip this guy off the edge though so I can push up on it a little bit. Some on the ends here. Check my brad nailer for enough brads. Running short. This brad nailer is funny, it fires all the brads from the top. They don't drop down in. Alright. Got myself on a short leash here too. Doesn't make any sense. I have a block on this corner, which will help hold that up. Together. That's why I did that. Come on. I better put a couple more in the ends. Hard to roll that though. I don't really care. So I'm guessing now you can get a picture of how it's going to come together. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to build this frame out of the 2x2s with pocket screws. Put my braces across here. And then start sheathing the whole thing. And then before I sheath it, I'm going to figure out how I'm going to get my bottom in there so I can reach in. First I'm going to run one from the front like this down, and then I'm going to cut wedges that come like this in, and that'll just help it. I'll put a brush or something in there so I can just brush it back to where it belongs. Which is looking good. It's all I expected it to be. Plywood box. Alright, I'm trying to make these corner joints really strong. Sorry, I got the pencil in my mouth. So, I already pre-drilled that. Nice amount of glue on there. twist it just a little bit. There we go. I don't think I want to do anything else to that. I could put another screw in it at an angle, I guess. I don't want to twist it around either. Get it all effed up. Put a little skinny sheet rock in there just to keep it from twisting. There we go. So that's what we're doing. I know this is twisted backwards, so I have some square blocks here that I made. I know they're square. So that corner still isn't even quite square, so I guess I should clamp it and let it set just a little bit. Put him in there. Damn it. Man, that's almost square. That guy there. Just a hair off, but I'm going to clamp them right down to the table because I got other work to do here. I got to keep going. So that'll hold that up square. That'll hold that square. So yeah, there's a hint around your woodworking shop. Make up some small angles like that, square on the inside, square on the outside. You can use them for clamping drawers, anything you're gluing up, any boxes that you're making that you want to pull them square, cabinetry, whatever, while you glue it up. You put those in the opposite corners, all four corners, whatever you prefer, and you can square everything up with just some clamps and you don't have to measure anything. Well, I'd almost forgotten about a little technology, a little tool I have around here called a pocket screw, a Craig jig. And I didn't have any more lock screws, but this little guy will serve us well doing what we are doing. It's pretty much designed to do what we want to do. So, what you do is on your target piece here, you clamp your jig. Special bit with a stop block. That bit's pretty dull. Put one on that side. And I'll put one on this side. Okay. Am I right in the way, of course? Yes. And that's dull. I get a new one of those. Alright, so then what you do, that ain't what you do, it's the way what you do it. You take your fancy schmancy clamp here. You bring your corners together. You slap some glue on this one. I already did the other end. Put your clamp on there just like so. And also comes with a nice long extended bit here. Put your special pocket screws where dry. And just take it easy. Don't strip them out because this is soft wood. And there you go. And I'm telling you what, a He-Man would have a hard time breaking these. He's making an incredibly strong joint. So I said I already did this end. That's what we're going to proceed with though. We'll just pocket screw everything. We're going to make a piece identical to that over there. And then identical to that one, and we'll bring it all the way right around. I got to make sure that I deduct more off in it for the thickness of this 1x2 at the top though, or 2x2. Alright, well, let's take some measurements and I'll come back when I'm putting progress is being made. This is going to be where the bottom of the door opening is, so I'm going to have to sheathe this in. The door is going to have to be 1.5 inches wider. I'm going to make the frame, as I said, exactly the same size as this opening, which I have my door over there. I just have to cut the bottom a little shorter to put it on here. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 more pieces to put in here. I'm going to put them in with the pocket screws, just like I'm doing. And then we can sheathe the whole thing and put the door on. As I said, before I put this sheathing in the front, I'm going to figure out how to put the floor in. Well, I had put this brace in already, but I ended up pulling it back out because I got thinking about how big the tires were, and I thought that I had compensated enough for the size of the tire. I think they're 32 inches, and to the top of that and the top of here was 31. So I got to move the brace down a little bit and increase the size of the door to about 33 inches, I think. So I'll be going to about there. I got to go measure the tires though and make sure I want to be able to get them in there. That was the whole point of building this, and then I can have it to use for other purposes. So until I figure that out, I just want to let you know before this is going to be the end of this episode 1. It's going to be too long, so I'm going to go in and I'm going to post what I've got, and got to go make some measurements and stuff. But we'll get her done next time, maybe tomorrow.